Now we can talk about iBoy, which is the dumbest name for a movie that I've seen in a long time.
For a movie that is not as dumb as the name is. It's not great. It's not a great movie, but
it's not the best movie I've seen, for sure.
Of course.
For a straight-to-video, like Netflix-style movie, it's not bad.
Yeah.
The acting was great. Macy Williams in it was great. I did find that the accents were so thick on some of those that it was kind of hard to follow exactly what they were saying.
I don't know. I've been watching British comedies all my life, so
right.
But I can still pick
and so have
up.
I. So have I. But my girlfriend was watching it with me, and she's like, "I have no idea what he just said. I have no idea what's going on." But
did you ever? By the way, did you ever watch the Blackadder with Rowan Atkinson?
No, I watched a shit ton of Mr. Bean though.
Right. So
we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
and you have like a bunch of them on DVD.
I have all of them.
Bring them over sometime, man. Make a day
either
of
way,
it.
Queen Elizabeth is in one of the seasons, 2 of the seasons actually.
Like the actual Queen?
No, of course not.
Like that would be such a great get, for the fucking Queen on the goddamn show.
No, but Queen Elizabeth I is a character in one of the seasons of Blackadder, and the lady that plays the Queen in that season, I think it's season 2. It plays the grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Tom's grandmother.
The romance novel writer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Miranda Richardson. See, I recognized her. I was like, wait, what do I know her from?
I kind of have an issue with this movie because the premise is so dumb.
Yeah.
Basically, if you've seen the trailer, he gets shot. And he's holding his phone up trying to call the police as he's running away from some bad guys. And he gets shot and pieces of his phone go into his brain.
Yeah.
And somehow give him the ability to... His brain's like a phone.
Yeah.
He's like a phone brain.
You said it best, I think. Watch Dogs the movie.
Yeah, it's like Watch Dogs the movie. And I've never played Watch Dogs, but that's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching it. Because I was like, the gameplay footage and trailers.
He's hacking everything with his brain. Right. He can see Wi-Fi signals and he can see what
and
people are doing.
Stuff
and he can text with his brain.
Text with his brain phone. What if that's the future of phones, though? Just get an implant in your brain?
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. That would. Jinx.
Shit, that means I can't talk for the rest of this thing.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be a long episode.
Well, I usually talk more than you do anyway, but it's all right. But so here's the deal. As far as like technically, the movie looked good for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
I liked some of the special effects and everything. The editing was a little bit confusing in some scenes. Like, for example, he's laying on the bed with Macy Williams' character. Mm-hmm. Was it Lucy?
Yes.
Is the name. And he asks her out on a date. He's like, you want to go get dinner or something? And she's like, sure, whatever. And then the next scene you see him in, he's in the kitchen. So I was like, maybe he asked her if he wanted to make her dinner. And I was like, oh, he's going to make her dinner. But no, it turns out he's back in his apartment talking to his grandma. And I was like, that's weird. And then, a scene towards the end when he's fighting with the big boss guy,
right.
There was a shot of him, like it cut to him like walking away. And it looked like he was walking away, like running away from the guy, but it actually turns out he was facing him. And I thought the editing could have been a little bit tighter in some of those scenes. And
yeah, there was
a few things that were just a little bit confusing.
Yeah, there was at least one of those that really jarred me out of the movie very briefly,
mm-hmm.
but I obviously can't fucking remember what it was anymore. But yeah, every now and then you would see something like that and
it just didn't really make sense.
It would pull you out of the movie forcibly and force you to get yourself back into it.
And you're just like, okay, what's going on? And then, you understand it, as we go on and you kind of get, the point that the movie's making.
It's a fairly simple story.
Very simple. It's like a revenge movie.
Yeah.
And some of the comments that I've seen, like on some discussion threads on Reddit, were like, you really, with a premise like this, kind of need to go either over the top with it, as far as like comedically, because it can be a very funny premise if you think about it, or you have to go so much darker than it was. But they kind of tried to get it like right there close to the middle, more on the darker side.
Yeah.
And it didn't really work for a lot of people that I read that had seen the movie. And I kind of agree with that to some certain extent. It's a good popcorn movie. It's not really something that I probably would have seen in the movie theater.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah. I do like Macy Williams, though.
Yeah.
And, she definitely... It's weird because watching her play Arya Stark, there's so much more maturity to that character than there is in the character of Lucy. I find her a lot more believable as this high school girl that kind of had this bad thing happen to her than I do as Arya Stark, because she's, even though she's still a young girl, she has lived a lifetime of bad things that have happened to her and her family.
Yeah.
At the point where we're at in Game of Thrones now. So there's a lot more maturity to that character, but, seeing, and, even in Doctor Who, where she plays this person who's basically immortal, doesn't age. It's nice to see her go back to that, I can play like a high school girl character who's just kind of learning the ways of the world kind of thing.
Pretty much the worst possible way.
Yeah, she gets raped.
Yeah.
It's not
right
good.
at the beginning of the movie, too.
Yeah, just straight up.
I feel like, and raped. I will say, I feel like they did pretty great with their, specifically her portrayal of PTSD after something that monstrous happens. After something that monstrous happens to somebody, it changes who you are fundamentally. And she did a pretty great job of portraying it.
Yeah, my question is like, how long does, what's his name, Tom or Todd?
I think it's Tom.
How long does Tom have to wait before he tries to get up in there? Like, what's the waiting period? I
feel like we're tiptoeing.
Because she kissed him. Yeah. She kissed him.
I feel like
obviously she's down,
I feel like we're tiptoeing towards a dangerous place right here.
I don't know. I've never had to deal with that situation
Does
before.
he still have his powers at the end of that movie?
I think you do. And, I think it was kind of toying with the idea that he was possibly losing them a little bit.
Right.
But if you remember at the end, it kind of shows the city as that Matrixy looking thing again.
All the Wi-Fi
signals. I think he does. Shit. And there's talk that people are speculating. I'm not saying that anything from the people who've made this, but people are speculating that it may become a series. I doubt it, though, at least with Maisie Williams, because she's so, Game of Thrones. And,
yeah, she's busy.
Yeah, I would imagine she's going to have a long, fruitful career.
Well, and this movie is based off of a book by a young adult author.
Right.
And it's the only one. Like, there are no sequels to it that this guy has ever written or anything. So there is not any other source material for them to pull from in order to actually make it into a series or even a series of movies.
Right. So what were some of the coolest parts, as far as him, hacking and stuff that you thought
were pretty
awesome?
I really enjoyed just everything that he did to fuck with the gang. Right.
I like the scene in the car where he's hacked into the car radio. He's locked the locks down and he's revving the engine to where it's blowing the carbon CO2 or whatever into the car, and he gets them to tell them the name of who
told them to go and rape fuck with Lucy. Yeah.
And I liked that part. I think that the whole part where his friend turned him in for money and the guy, what's his name, Elman, the main villain at the end, who he just miraculously puts two and two together and realizes that this guy can hack stuff with his brain. I was like, how does that happen? Where
how did you figure this
Where
out?
was that scene where the dude's telling him, I think this guy can hack stuff with his brain? Because it wasn't there, And so that seemed like a bit of a plot hole for me, and he bought into it really quick.
Oh yeah,
where he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, he can hack stuff with his brain. Of course he can."
Yeah, absolutely, because obviously.
Yeah, so that was a little, kind of took me out of it. But I think overall, it was a decent movie. It's worth a watch if you have Netflix.
Yeah,
if you it was better
than Ark,
right?
That movie about the perpetual energy device that resets time. Every
I haven't seen
couple
that.
Hours. It's bad. Don't bother.
Right.
It's got some cool effects and the concept is kind of neat, but it's bad. It's not a good movie at all. It's not even as good as this movie, and this movie wasn't a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was just okay.
It was just okay.
Right. I probably wouldn't watch it again.
No, I'm not going to watch it
again. And if they made a series out of it, I'd probably be like, eh.
Yeah, no.
I will say this, though. The title of the movie is dumb.
It's dumb. Fuck. It's so bad. But it's the name of the book.
Right, and I was sending you alternate names. I was texting you alternate names for it. I was like, Smart Boy.
Yeah.
Boy.0. What was Augmented Reality?
Yeah. I thought that one.
Because really, that's basically what it is. It's an augmented reality. And I will tell you, one of the things that I found the cheesiest... actually, there's two things that I found super cheesy in this movie before we move on. One is when he's walking behind Eugene and the other guy, and it just shows hacking in the loading bar. That's not how that works.
That's not how it works.
You just hacking, 98% complete. And when he's like walking up behind the guy, when he's going to like set the drugs on fire, and he's walking up behind the guy, he's got all these like self-defense videos playing and stuff. It's like, this is like Neo. He's like,
yes,
I know kung fu.
I know kung fu.
So I was just like, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's incredibly dumb.
But hey, you know, like you said, it's a young adult novel. I could imagine that like 13-year-olds would
Probably
think this
fucking
is
love
awesome
it. Yeah.
and try and like shoot their phones into their brains or something.
They're just trying to stuff their phones into their ears or something.
Yeah. It's
Which,
like,
by
I'm
the
an
way,
adult.
that kid is going to get brain cancer.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, because like he goes to the doctor a couple of times, and the doctor keeps saying, "Oh no, we can't perform surgery to remove these things because they've dug in deeper into your brain." I'm like, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
He's gonna die
He's
fucking
gonna die a
soon
horrible
too.
death. Before we move on, I have one question. If you live in the UK, explain something to me, because I noticed 2 businesses that they walk past, and there was a sign that says off license on 2. They look like little convenience stores, and one of them said off license. What does that mean if you're in the UK? What does off license mean? Because it was like, you know, beer and chips off license and something else like on the awning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, as an American, I have no idea what that means, and I've never seen that in any other British show, or at least noticed it.
We have these magical devices
I just want people to comment on the video.
that you can implant into your brain so that you can.
I want engagement from the audience.
Yeah, fair
Chris.
point.
If,
No,
if you know what that is, let us know.
Yeah, please.
In the comments below. Do you have anything else you want to say about iBoy before we move on?
Yeah, not really.